Triple J says yes. Find the car of your dreams. Know how much you're approved for and what your trade-in is worth instantly online at triplejguam.com. Get a real-time view of every car in our inventory. Pre-qualify instantly and save time at the dealership. Triple J says yes.
Alpha Day, I'm Nick Delgado with this week's edition of Cruising with KUAM, and in the hot seat is Salvation Army's Captain Tom Stanbaugh. All right, Tom, you ready to get going?
Let's go.
All right, so guys, Tom's gonna talk a little bit about everything that's coming up during the holiday season, a lot of things that the Salvation Army does. But while we get going here, let's first off start with a little bit about the Salvation Army and what you guys do for the community throughout the year.
Well, it's a great conversation. Thanks for allowing us to be part of this. Appreciate that. We're actually celebrating our 25th year on the island. Hurricane Omar brought the Salvation Army here during disaster relief, and so over the last 25 years, the Salvation Army has found certain areas of our community that we can have an impact in. Okay. And so over the course of these last 25 years in community support, we've been able to create our family social service program here, where people can come and get food, rental assistance and those things. We have the Lighthouse Recovery Center, otherwise known as the LRC, to help people overcome their addiction problem. And so, and then throughout the year, we do various programs for youth building, our church services, and of course, anytime there's a disaster, a local disaster, or a fire, or those kind of things, our team responds to help the firemen with hydration or food. And so the Salvation Army year-round is always in the community trying to better people's lives. We are actively working with the point-in-time count. Our team heads that up, and it's exciting to see that because it helps us see the areas and pockets of need around the island. And so those numbers are real numbers, of course. They give us an idea of the kind of needs that some of those less fortunate in our community give us an idea what kind of programs are necessary and needed, and then work to achieve those programs.
Okay. Yeah. And so celebrating now a quarter of a century. First off, how long have you been doing this, and what motivated you to become a part of the Salvation Army?
Thank you for asking that. Well, the Salvation Army is a worldwide organization. We're in over 140 countries around the world, doing the same kind of things we're doing here on Guam. Even in our island in Puerto Rico that just had a devastating hurricane, the Salvation Army is actively working to help people in need. I came in through the Salvation Army as a poor kid, as a kid who came in needing of the services that the Salvation Army provided, and through that was invited to attend the church and found that as my home. Found the Lord there, and just felt like this was my place to be. And I loved the Salvation Army ever since I was a kid. I wore my uniform since I was 14 years old. Of course, a soldier uniform has the blue trim. And at 16, felt God calling me to be a Salvation Army officer. And coming from an environment which I grew up in a broken home, latchkey home kind of thing. Dad was out of the home when I was a young age, and had a stepdad that wasn't always good to me. So growing up with the feeling of abandonment, anger, a lot of issues where didn't have a dad in the home to encourage, but discourage actually, to be productive. And so it was the Salvation Army that I went to that I found that positive, those positive role models in my life to kind of encourage me to be a good husband, a good father, and those kind of things. I didn't have that at home.
Made you the man you are today.
Correct, absolutely. And character counts, right?
And you said it was that calling that made you decide to be an officer with the Salvation Army. But do you recall that very moment when you said, you know, they've done so much for me, I'm ready to show my appreciation and give back?
Yeah, a lot of people, clergy, remember very vividly when God called them to ministry. And for me, I was 16 years old at a youth council, that's what they call it in the Salvation Army, where we have a youth retreat and they take the kids away to this, for us it was Glorieta, New Mexico. Okay. I grew up in the Southwest in Arizona. So there I was at a 16-year-old kid broken, anger issues, and all kinds of things. And I just felt the urging the Lord calling me to be a full-time Salvation Army officer. And wow, just the overwhelming flood of grace and love from the Lord first, through the vehicle of the Salvation Army to do ministry. And that's my calling. And I'm sure if you talk to other people in ministry, they'll say they very vividly remember the time God said, I choose you to do this work. And Salvation Army officers, because we get moved around every few years, and those kind of things, it really is a vocation where you have to be called to do this kind of work because there's not a lot of money in it. And so it has to be a passion or a desire to change other people and to give back in a greater way.
Triple J says yes. Find the car of your dreams. Know how much you're approved for and what your trade-in is worth instantly online at triplejguam.com. Get a real-time view of every car in our inventory. Pre-qualify instantly and save time at the dealership. Triple J says yes. Triple J says yes. Find the car of your dreams. Know how much you're approved for and what your trade-in is worth instantly online at triplejguam.com. Get a real-time view of every car in our inventory. Pre-qualify instantly and save time at the dealership. Triple J says yes.
And let's get to the holiday season upon us. It's a time where people find themselves to be more giving, even though it should be something that we practice year-round. But talk a little bit about what the Salvation Army does around this time of year.
Yeah, well, this is our second year on the island, and so our first year, last year we helped 2,000 children with brand new toys for Christmas Day for their families. 2,000 children, that's a lot of kids. And thankfully, we had a lot of donors through the Marine Corps' Toys for Tot program and other donors who stopped and came and brought us new toys and allowed us to give these children a chance to have a nice Christmas. We also give them a food box so they have a Christmas meal as well. So it's a complete Christmas kind of thing. And so we're right now doing intake for that and getting our families ready for that. And start collecting the toys at any time. I mean, if you see a good sale on toys and want to pick one up and drop it off here in Tejan, we'll be glad to put it aside and get it ready for our classrooms here coming up in the next couple of months when we give it out.
Should it be wrapped, unwrapped?
Unwrapped's fine. Okay. Because we do like a toy store. Our classrooms end up looking like KB Toy Store or Toys R Us, and people come and they shop for the toys they want for their child.
Yeah.
And of course, we got the Thanksgiving feast coming up at Chamorro Village. Every year we've done this now. The LRC has headed us up now over 20 plus years that we've done this community meal. Last year we did 1,500 meals on site. And
traditional Thanksgiving meal?
Yes, turkey, ham, potatoes, you name it. Red rice, all the good stuff that we call a good Thanksgiving meal. And so we're excited about it because it's coming up here soon. And so, again, if you see a sale on turkeys, we need 70 turkeys to feed 2,000 people, 1,500 to 2,000 people. And so if you see a good sale on a turkey, you pick an extra one up, bring it on over to Tejan. If you could cook it, or if a restaurant or a hotel out there wants to cook several turkeys, we call us up until we can pick it up the day of Thanksgiving, bring it over to Chamorro Village and carve it up and serve it to the folks. So we encourage that, and anybody can come for the meal for Thanksgiving. You don't have to be poor. You don't have to. If you just want a good Thanksgiving meal, come on down to Chamorro Village, and we always have great volunteers. Local politicians show up and help us out serving the folks of Guam. So it's great.
And how do you? I mean, 1,500 to 2,000 families, and then the 2,000 plus children. How do you guys go about finding these people?
Well, we do an active outreach to a lot of the local mayor's offices through flyers, through campaigning to let people know they can come sign up, and then of course doing things like this, letting people know there is a meal going on and going on the radio stations and promoting it and show up. And that's been our success so far of getting the numbers and people. There is a lot of need on the island, but you know what I'm finding in my second year on Guam is that Guam is very generous. The people of Guam are very generous to people, and we see this in a lot of ways. And so we're very fortunate to live in a giving community, and that want to help people in need. And going through organizations like the Salvation Army is one way for people really to help those in need, because we vet those who are in need through our intake process, making sure that it's legitimate need and those kind of things. And so that way the donor knows when they donate to the Salvation Army, it's going to someone in need, or if they donate monetarily, maybe a check or cash to the Salvation Army, it stays on the island and to help the people of Guam. And so we're very proud of that, and we're glad that we're able to do that.
Are you able to share with us a little bit about that intake process, how you guys determine those that are qualified?
Yeah, we usually go through the public health guidelines of poverty level, income, and from that guideline, from there, as people come in and we do the assessment of, and there is a lot of paperwork involved for some folks. I know that's kind of a frustrating point for some, but Social Securities for those in the family, cards for those in the family, IDs. This way we know it's a legitimate number of children, and it's correct.
Let's start first with the Thanksgiving meal. What is it like when you see those families out there in the lines? I'm sure a lot of them get out there early to get the freshest of the freshest that they can get. And so what is it like for you each time you see them come out in the masses and just indulge and celebrate the holidays as best they can? Right.
Well, for me, being a poor kid growing up and understanding what it feels like to receive a food box or a hot meal, being on the other side of it to organize it, to feed so many of our people in our community, it only reinforces the fact that I'm on the right track, that God is doing the right things and helping us to help those in need. So it's very fulfilling to understand what it feels like to be in need, and also what it feels like to provide a service to help somebody in need. And it's an overwhelming feeling of gratitude. It's an awesome feeling to know that God put me in a place of leadership to help people around us. So it's very satisfying to see people happy. It was sitting around the table and watch families eat and partake in a meal. That's what makes your Thanksgiving. That's what makes you be thankful for, is knowing that you help somebody else have a good meal. And of course, Guam's always good about taking a plate home, so they always get to take,
of course,
taking some food home.
The blue tin.
Yes, yeah.
Something I'm sure you learned in the past couple of years being here.
Yes. And,
there's your meal, there's your seconds, maybe your thirds, but then there's always your blue tin.
Oh yes, right. Yeah, and making sure everyone has something to take home, and that's always great.
Yeah, that's what's so great, is that the giving back experience of it, and just the hospitality of everyone, especially on an island like this, where you see that just there's the mass amount of donations and people giving back, but then it's never you can never say that we're good, we're enough with what we have, right?
Yes. And that's true. I mean, and the same thing for us in the Salvation Army. We're never satisfied just with the programs that we have here on Guam. We're always asking or looking, what else can the Salvation Army be doing to help a need in the community that maybe is an unmet need. There's several great organizations on the island already servicing a lot of people, but maybe there's an unmet need that the Salvation Army can work on. And what we've done is we reached out to the Mayor's Council, we reached out to local senators, and we've actually teamed up with the local senator to do, when he does the mobile office with Will Castro and his team, we've gone out with food bags in hand, and whoever comes up and might need assistance, there we are to provide it. And so we're excited about doing some more mobile case management in the future, because as you can see where we are in Tijan, sometimes people have a hard time getting to us. And so we feel like we need to just get our team and go out into the island and bring some of the services into some of the Mayor's Council, some of the areas where it may not be so easy for people to get to us, and we can still meet the need. So that's an unmet need we're trying to work on in the upcoming year.
And that's perfect, because who better to ask it, and who better knows their hometown, their village, than the island mayors, so they know how to get to these people, they know where they are and what their need is, along with that additional intake process that you guys go through.
Absolutely. And I guess for us in the Salvation Army, our goal is we want to provide a good service, but really it's a hand up, not a handout.
Yes.
And so
that's a great way of putting it, because a lot of people would see this as, you know, oh, this is a moment for me to take advantage. I need to save. I'm going to take advantage of these the givings that the Salvation Army's, you know, putting out there to the community. Granted, you know, fine, it's the holidays, it's the time for giving, but we also want to make sure it's those people that, like you said, are in most need.
Triple J says yes. Find the car of your dreams. Know how much you're approved for and what your trade-in is worth instantly online at triplejguam.com. Get a real-time view of every car in our inventory. Pre-qualify instantly and save time at the dealership. Triple J says yes. Triple J says yes. Find the car of your dreams. Know how much you're approved for and what your trade-in is worth instantly online at triplejguam.com. Get a real-time view of every car in our inventory. Pre-qualify instantly and save time at the dealership. Triple J says yes.
So at the Thanksgiving feast, do we also expect some entertainment, something that the participants can enjoy while eating their meal?
Yes, every year we have entertainment. This year we have a DJ lined up and another musical act lined up, and so
they can do some cha-cha and whatever dances that they have going.
Okay. You know, after a good full belly, you want to let loose, right? So it's perfect. Yeah. So, and we usually go in the Fest Pack area of Chamorro Village, so it's nice and spread out. Yeah. People can really, you know, and use those huts as an opportunity for family to hang out and then come out and enjoy the festivities. So we're planning on all this right now. It's still kind of working out the last parts of the planning stages, but like most years in the past, it's going to be a good Thanksgiving meal and great opportunity for people to come and have a good time on that day.
Since it is your second year, how would you compare the preparations last year to everything you guys have been doing so far this year?
So far, I think the biggest challenge, is just now we understand the process of how we go about getting donations and securing some of the, you know, the cooked food is the big help, because we don't have the kitchen facilities to cook 70 raw turkeys. And so, as donors or hotels and restaurants want to contribute, the best way to do that is a cooked thing for us that we can take and carve up and serve immediately, you know. So that's the biggest thing we've learned, is the less cooking prep work we can do is the better. Less hands are touched it for food handling, you know, it's just perfect that way. Yeah. And
then also around this time of year, there are other holiday sightings that we'll see the Salvation Army throughout the community. Talk a little bit about that. Well, in December, you'll see the legendary red kettle right out in the community. And I just want to say to start that is that when you see the red kettle or bell ringers out collecting funds publicly like that, those funds are staying locally on the island. Any Christmas needs that come up, whether that's through Thanksgiving or, you know, when we get into our Christmas time, we need to order food, or if there's a unmet toy need, we can go out and purchase those things and use the kettle money to do that. And so we encourage people as they come by to bring their change or their dollars or whatever it is and donate to the red kettle, because that does stay on island, and it helps us to pay for the Christmas bill, because it gets expensive. Oh yeah. Yeah. So, from the venue to everything, I'm sure. So our Christmas goal this year for kettles is $70,000. Okay. And so we got almost 4 weeks to collect that, because you figure it's really the week of Thanksgiving, the day after Christmas, really up until Christmas Eve. We'll be out with our red kettle, so we have a small window of time to raise that kind of money. Yeah. So I encourage, if you're a volunteer group out there and you want to challenge another group, like a Rotary Club, want to challenge another Rotary Club, or Kiwanis, or a school club, or anything like that, to come up and say, let's challenge each other so you can raise the most money and you know, be the bell ringer of the year kind of thing. Yeah. You know? And so it could be a fun adventure. It doesn't have to be just the kettle challenge. The kettle challenge, yeah. It doesn't have to be just, you know, one person out there. It could be, let's bring teams together, and maybe we got a military base. We got military bases on the island.
And we have some military units that want to challenge each unit and see who can raise some money. So that we're laying down the gauntlet. Who can pick up the challenge and see who can raise the most money. And again, the most money we can raise stays on the island. So, you know, at the end of the day, we're trying to raise the money to help our local folks. So that's great.
And then with the kids, the children who receive these gifts, for the most part, the gifts that are donated, do you guys ever do something like a wish list of sorts where they mention exactly what they're hoping for, what they're wishing to get, and then you try to fulfill that request?
Yeah, when we do the intake, we kind of we ask what their child might be interested in. Of course, for our donors' sake, we try to limit it to about $30. I mean, I know every kid would like a new Xbox, but we can't always afford that, and so we want to be gracious to our donors and say, you know, we want something to give a nice present to a child. So we're very cautious to make sure that we're, for our donors' sake, that we, try to meet the need as best we can. And then as the toys come in and we lay out the classrooms they're in Tejan, as our toy store becomes, greater and bigger, and as parents come through, they try to find the item for their children that they think that their son or daughter would like.
Triple J says yes. Find the car of your dreams. Know how much you're approved for and what your trade-in is worth instantly online at triplejguam.com. Get a real-time view of every car in our inventory. Pre-qualify instantly and save time at the dealership. Triple J says yes. Triple J says yes. Find the car of your dreams. Know how much you're approved for and what your trade-in is worth instantly online at triplejguam.com. Get a real-time view of every car in our inventory. Pre-qualify instantly and save time at the dealership. Triple J says yes.
Is there anything else that you guys will be doing during the holiday season that the community can expect to see from the Salvation Army?
Yeah, we're working on a big kettle kickoff at the Agana Shopping Center the day after Thanksgiving.
Okay. And it's your Black Friday of sorts.
It is, yeah. And we're working with them on our development volunteer. CJ is working on with the Agana Shopping Center to put together a nice event to come on down and kind of kick off our kettle season. And so if you're in that area the day after Thanksgiving, which everyone's shopping.
Right.
And so...
it's a perfect location.
Yeah, come on down and donate and see the kettle kickoff. And there'll be more, if you follow us on our Facebook, Salvation Army Guam Facebook, there'll be more posted about our upcoming events and people can get connected and see what's happening. We just also opened a new thrift store. I don't know if you've heard.
Yes, I heard about that. We part of our crew probably took a tour of that as well. Is there anything you want to let the public know about that?
Sure. The thrift store is a way for us to take community donations, clothing, household goods, and those kind of things, and we sell it for a discounted rate. And what happens is all those funds that we generate from the sales of the thrift store go into our programs that we have on the island.
Yes.
So it helps us to provide money for our Family Social Service Program or the Lighthouse Recovery Center or some of our youth programming going on, as well as some of the other activities going on that we do throughout the year. And so when you donate or when you come shop, it all goes back to the community. So either way, it's helping that. So that we encourage people to come by the new thrift store. It's a bigger facility, and we're excited to and we put air cons in it.
Really?
So when you come shop, it's always nice to be in the cool, right? So and it's a new facility, and then we have our own thrift store Facebook page that people can follow and get directions to the place.
And where is it?
It's in Tamuning. We always say it's right past the Pizza Hut.
Okay.
Once you pass the Pizza Hut on the right side, you'll see our sign, Salvation Army Thrift Store, turn in, and we're all the way in the back there. And but yeah, we encourage people to donate usable, sellable items, clothing and household goods and those kind of things. And again, people who shop there find a good bargain because it's good clothes, it's good things for their house, and those kind of things. And then the money's generated going back into the community to help people.
Definitely a long overdue upgrade for the Salvation Army and its thrift store, but it also goes to show just how much people have given back over the years to get you guys to this point.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
So any additional information to possible donors out there, or even to those in the community that find themselves just down during the holiday season and unsure whether they can actually celebrate traditionally?
Yeah, we want to. Christmas is about the birth of Christ, and for me as a Christian and as a pastor of the Salvation Army, we want to spread the joy of and the love of God. First and foremost, the toys and the food and all those things that we do are part of the Christmas tradition, but the act of Christmas was Jesus coming for us, and that is the greatest gift for all of us, is the gift of hope, the gift of grace, the gift of a new chance, new opportunities. And so as the holidays come and people feel down, I would say come visit the captain of the Salvation Army, and we'll come pray. We'll pray with you, and we'll talk about what Christ means for us and all the things that I know personally for me. I know our staff, a lot of them feel the same. As what we do is what through the Salvation Army, we do it for the Lord. This is for Him. This is His work. And throughout all the economic ups and downs, when we don't have a lot of donations, or whenever we have these economic needs, God still shows up, and we're able to provide need. We're able to provide support. And it's always awesome to see when God moves in the organization and blesses our programs and blesses those. So I would say as the holidays come up, find your pastor. If you don't have a pastor, Salvation Army, we have a church service in Minilao, and we'd gladly have you to come worship with us and find a family that wants to serve and grow.
Definitely. All right, Tom, thank you so much for your time. And everyone, this is really, really important discussion that we're having here with the Salvation Army, especially with the holiday season upon us. So do what you can to help out, and to those that find themselves down in the dumps and in need this holiday season, the Salvation Army has your back. Of course, they are in Teason, located just around the corner from Teason High School. So if you're not too sure where to go, that's where it is. And thank you for joining us for KUAM Cruisin'.
Thank you.